Hi, welcome back. I'm trying to get everything adjusted, making sure you can hear me. Welcome back to Vulnerability Let's Talk. My name is Dr. Ayisha Zakia Jefferson, and we are going to talk today about something that seems really simple, but it's really the magnitude of it really makes a difference in our life. We're going to talk about loving ourselves first. And so I have three beautiful guests today, coach and entrepreneur Jonathan L. Harris, coach and entrepreneur Yolanda Stone, and she's also a coach and an entrepreneur and an MD, Dr. Catherine Ega Phillips. And so they will be on with us shortly. I'm going to look here. I know it's been a minute. I always like to give a disclaimer that none of us claim to be professionals here. We are all given our experiences from a storyline. We are an expert actually in our experiences. So please understand that as we're talking, and we hope that through us sharing our experiences, it will bring awareness, it'll bring clarity, it'll bring a sense of knowing, and really ultimately a sense of healing for you to be the highest version of yourself and to be in alignment. So let me go on. I'm trying to see if my guests are on. I love seeing you too, Katrina. I see you, Christine. And I'm waiting on the guests to join. So hold on just a minute. So while we're waiting on them to come on, I want you to also think about what does loving yourself first mean to you? And I've coined it like, what does it mean to give myself life? Because ultimately, that's really what we're doing. When we love ourselves first, that is our own personal lifeline. So what does that mean? And do we even know what it means? Do we even think about it in our day-to-day lives? There's been such a resurgence of it, probably within the last like 5 to 10 years, and it almost seems like a trending term. But I wonder what people are attaching to it when they think about it as a whole. Still not seeing my peoples. Hold on. And they may be having a hard time coming on too. I see you, Tawana. I see you, Tony. All right, Dr. Cat, I see you. All right, so I do see one of our guests. Hold on with me just a minute. And let me send her an invite. I don't see the others yet. Bear with us just a moment while the others come in. I see you, Mika. Katrina says her explanation or her definition of loving yourself first is putting myself in a space of peace, love, alignment, spending my morning journaling instead of being on social media. Indeed. Yes, very good. Hey, how are
I'm
you?
here.
Hey, Aya. Hey, Vanessa. So grateful to be in this space. I'm glad you're in the space with us too.
Yes, I'm excited for this.
All right, Jonathan is coming on. So we'll be just waiting on one more. Oh, hold on, something just happened. Just a minute. Yeah, I got out of the loop. Now I'm acting like I don't know how to use it. All right, I just sent a notification to Jonathan. How are you doing today, Kat?
Ooh, I literally just finished my day like 25 minutes ago.
Okay.
So I don't know yet. But I feel good. I feel
What's
good.
up?
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi.
I'm going to wait a few more seconds on Yolanda. She may be having technical difficulties. Wait a minute. Actually, I think I just saw her.
Oh, hi, Vanessa.
Yeah, I see
Vanessa.
Vanessa, Angela. Okay, I don't think I'm seeing Yolanda. So we can probably just go ahead and get started. And then if she comes on, which I know she will.
I'm so excited about this wonderful opportunity to interview you. So, I'm so excited about this awesome opportunity.
Oh,
you have the questions ready, Dr. K?
I do.
Okay,
I got them
good.
right here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
I'm so excited. What is the name of this again? Vulnerability. Like, I can't even talk.
Vulnerability. Let's talk. Loving yourself first.
Oh, yes. So, first question. I know this is your show. I'm just, your guest.
I'm going to pop you.
But I am so excited.
We're going to get kicked off. We're going to get kicked off the show before it even starts.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So let's go ahead and begin. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Kat, aka Dr. K. Yeah, I'm a medical doctor here in Atlanta. My practice is Mind, Body, Spirit Wellness Center, and I'm just here for helping and uplifting all the people of the world. Well, not everybody. Well, yes. I'm gonna stick with that answer.
I'm
all right,
Jonathan. I am Jonathan Harris. I am here to support my beautiful sister as she takes us through this process of vulnerability and expression and love and self-love. I'm a coach. I'm a life coach stationed here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm just here to, help you realize your potential and help you walk into your destiny.
All right. Thank you. And both are amazing people whose services, Jonathan is my coach, and Dr. Kat is an amazing integrative doctor in Atlanta whose services I definitely utilize, who is next level in her practice. All right, so we're going to jump right into it because I want to stick to the timeline. What is your definition of life? What is your definition of loving yourself first? One word or a statement?
Respect.
Oh.
But I'm just learning this, since earlier today. But respect.
Yeah. I said one word.
Yes.
How about in respect? What do you respect in what regard?
I think loving yourself is, for me, when I say loving yourself and I say respect, learning how to respect yourself, your boundaries, your needs, your wants, your desires. So learning how to make sure that you're always giving from your own overflow and focusing and prioritizing you. For me, it's like, I'm learning how to do that. I'm such a person that is always doing that. I do at times put myself last, but I think I'm putting myself in the midst of whatever I'm doing. But I'm learning that really, I used to always say like, damn, I love myself. But now it's like, do you really love yourself if you don't respect yourself, if you're not fair to you?
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's my little spiel.
Okay.
Wow, because that was exactly what I was gonna.
That's all right.
So my second answer, if I had to pick one word, I would say, everyone knows like this is one of my favorite words, but elevation. It really to me means that I know that I'm forever evolving and forever growing and forever just like becoming an elevated version of whatever version I'm at now. And it encompasses, yes, respect of self to take that journey. It takes courage to take that journey. and it takes vulnerability to take that journey. But it also takes compassion to take that journey and know to not judge yourself for like previous choices and actions. Like, oh, I was terrible then. Like, no, you were just at a different level and
Yeah.
you elevated to another level. And there's more to
Absolutely.
learn. So I feel like life for me, loving myself first, is being a forever student of life.
Ooh, okay. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I love that being a student. I'm definitely a believer in being a lifelong learner. I am learning more about respect, even though I would say it all the time, but there's a level of respect that you can demand from others that you don't place on yourself, and that's really important. So I love what both of you have said. Um, I know I've thought about this for a while, and my statement on loving myself first, so it's not just one word, is the knowing and being that you are God's perfect creation just as you are. And as love and light as that may sound, for me to be okay with myself as I am right now is still a journey for me. So I have to say that to myself. You are God's perfect creation just as you are. There's nothing else you have to do. Just waking up, getting out of the bed, without putting on any makeup, without doing anything, you're fine just the way you are. So for me, if I had a defining statement, that would be my statement for myself. So why do you think there has been such a resurgence when it comes to self-love? Because this is not something, we probably heard about like 15, 20 years ago, like very intentional messages about that. Why do you think that is now?
I think we are in a time and space where people are looking inward more, and whatever people call it, the self-help or the wanting to go inward and discover more about themselves. I think that triggered it. I think there are events and calamities within our lifetime that have pushed us to really look at ourselves and be honest with ourselves, like the pandemic.
Yeah.
Where everyone said go sit down with yourself for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it really called forth like a level of honesty that some people weren't even ready and prepared for. But I think that things like that are really causing this whole movement essentially to spiral for us and the generation even coming behind us.
Yeah. What do you think, Jonathan?
I personally think that a lot of people, well, I agree with what Dr. K just said, but I also think that a lot of people are just tired of feeling bad. And I think people are just tired of, just not knowing. I think the pandemic showed a lot of people, like, the things that you thought you could trust, you can't really trust. You know what I'm saying? So because they're throwing you information, but the information is not aligning with how you're feeling. So I know, like, I'm now asking certain questions that I was afraid to ask before. So especially in the Black community, it's trust God. God's going to lead the way. You're good. But now it's like, hold up, wait, pause. I'm not feeling good, and you can't just throw certain things that you could throw at me before. So I think we're in we're in an information age where people are able to ask more questions, and we're actually searching for answers now. We have more resources. So I think that people are just looking for an answer to fulfill something that's going on the inside of them, and they can't find it in just the Bible anymore. There's nothing wrong with the Bible, but they can't just find it in the Quran. They can't find it there. So it's not about, just having faith. So, my grandmother, she used to always tell me, just have faith. Don't worry about it. I'm like, Grandma, I'm not feeling good. And she's like, just have faith. It'll work out. God will fix it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to wait. And that was 2000. No, this your beautiful platform. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. But yeah, I just think people are tired of feeling bad. But I think also too, it's like when you do look at social media or you do look at television, you do look at certain things, it gives you an escape, but it doesn't give you clarity or peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, so certain things, certain individuals can use things to distract them, but you only can be distracted for so long. You only can be confused for so long, you know,
Mm-hmm.
before you start asking real questions. Like, who am I? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Who is God?
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, we wasn't asking who God. We was asking who God was, but we were afraid to actually voice it because we didn't want to, you know, be, you know, just told that something was wrong with us for questioning whatever. So,
Yeah, I was definitely always told you never question God in any kind of way. But now we know better. God actually wants us to question. And, you know, piggybacking on what you said too, especially in my experience with the Black community, when we pray, God brings resources. If we're praying for relief, if we're praying for clarity, if we're praying for all that, it is through prayer that we get those resources, and sometimes we reject them as a result of just have faith and just have hope. So I love that you even brought that up. Yeah. Good. So did you grow up knowing anything about loving yourself first? Is that anything that was seen? Did you witness anybody? Did you see it on television? Did you know anything about loving yourself first?
well, I can say, well, I'll speak for me. The Black culture in the South, the Black culture of the South, I didn't learn nothing about loving yourself. I learned how to avoid myself. I learned how to distract myself. You know, I learned how to fake it until you make it, but I didn't learn how to respect myself, how to love myself, how to be fair, you know, with myself. So, like, no, not at all. So even examples, I seen a lot of people avoid themselves and, you know, avoid, you know, the truth of whoever they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody I know really made a choice or looked at themselves and said, you know what, you know, be honest with yourself about what you want, who you want to become, what you want to do, like what you don't like. This is your life, and take it or leave it. You know, so kind of you're so for me growing up 34, you know, I was taught to settle. I wasn't taught to live. I wasn't taught to thrive. So I definitely wasn't taught to love myself.
Yeah. How about you, Kat?
My experience was a little different. So,
She's
but
so peaceful. I just love it.
no, but like growing up in a very West African household, um, it was different because I was told to look at myself, but I don't know that I would call it love. It was more like respect yourself, you know. So it was always like work on yourself, develop yourself, you know, like that. So I don't know, like to me, that's how love was manifested, or how it was displayed was like, okay, so how's your character? Okay, so you know, how are you treating people? Okay, so how are you educating yourself? Okay, so how are you know, and it was like that. And then, but the like, love is a new thing that I'm, you know, now in my adult life in the American culture am embracing. Like it involves like an acceptance also that I think that part was kind of left out. There was never any like, but you are still cool the way you are, but keep working. It was just keep working.
Wow.
So I think my balance was, I got a little bit of both sides, and now I'm making it make sense and work for me.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good thing. So your culture taught you that you're more than you can be more. You need to be more than. And my culture from the South taught me I'm not enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
definitely like, why are you tolerating that? You are
Yeah.
queen. And I'm like, I'm 4 years old. Like what?
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, it was like this no nonsense, like, who are you? Remember who you are, you know, like all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like
Yeah.
tough. It wasn't like, oh,
Yeah.
like love, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I similar to both of you guys in kind of like different ways. I grew up in California, but I grew up under Southern grandparents. And I think for them, and then of course my mom being reared under them in survival mode. So I don't even know the self-love, loving yourself first. I can just say two different things: how to survive, how to grind, and how to be a lady. I can't really think anything past the whole self-love thing. I literally sat there and tried to think really hard about that. I was taught about, you know, being respectful, how to respect yourself, but it was respect yourself from being a lady perspective. Sit with your legs crossed. Sit with your, you know, shoulders back and your head up. Say this, don't say this, but it wasn't anything about like self-reflection, anything pointing to inner self-work, anything pointing to rest. Because that was not even, that was like, I don't know, days off or days to catch up, you know, pretty much. So, yeah, I don't recall it. And I know they only did what they knew to do, you know.
Yeah.
I know if I even bring those statements up to them now, it's kind of like, huh, that's something I even think about, because they were constantly thinking about others. And like I said, constantly in survival mode. So saying that, at what point did you know it was important to start loving yourself first?
I think for me personally, I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm really still learning. So I think, you know, going against programming, my program has always been to give, or to give, do. So, you know, so when you start thinking about doing certain things for yourself, so when I think about loving myself, I think I almost connect loving myself with being selfish. You know, so it's almost like how I kind of connect it, but it's still it's a process. I can understand respecting myself a lot more, but yeah, I'm still a work in progress with that for me personally. What about you, Kat?
No, I agree. I agree with you, Jonathan. I'm still learning as well. I know even between the three of us, we're constantly trying to hold each other accountable for for this very question. I think it came on my radar in my adult life, like running my practice and being a business owner and entrepreneur. And I was just like, whoo, I'm taking care of all these people. Who's taking care of me? Oh yeah, me. Oh, okay. So then I just started connecting dots, but I'm still trying to figure it out and help others figure it out, like simultaneously, which is an interesting dynamic to do. But yeah, it's still a work in progress, like Jonathan said.
Well, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I think that's what makes us so special, is that we're on a constant pursuit to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even for myself, like, even when I can say like, okay, loving myself, respecting myself, like, I'm in a constant pursuit to grow, to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm not going to ever be content with just the mundane of, okay, I'm cool with myself, you know?
Yeah.
So, because a lot of people just avoid themselves in general, you know, and to really like figure stuff out, you have to really push and pull and squeeze and go in and sit and learn and listen, and it's just a lot. So I think like we definitely, one thing about loving yourself is, for myself included, and I know for all of you too, is we got to give ourselves more credit for the things we continue to do and what we continue to push through.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because a lot of times we'll give so many other people grace and compassion that we won't give to ourselves. Yeah. So I even love that you said that. I know for me, when it came to loving myself first, it was really depression. When I kept having like cycles of like depression, cycles of exhaust, I was like, hold up, something, I'm not doing something right. And for someone who is considered to be an overachiever, I actually felt like I had it together with, okay, I've done this, I do this, I've gone to this place to get this kind of help, and I've just constantly moving instead of just sometimes being still and figuring out what the real problem is. And so, but yeah, that I was actually forced into it. I don't even know any other way to explain it. Like I literally felt myself physically losing myself, like looking in the mirror and not really knowing who I was seeing. And at one time I felt like I did know, but then there was one time it was like a complete, like, who is this that you're looking at? And I was forced to go in. forced to go in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that was going to be my next question. Have you guys had your moments where you were forced to love yourself? And what did that look like, if you care to share?
Yes, definitely had my moment. I think it's always those moments where like you feel like your back is against the wall, or like you've hit rock bottom as you perceive it to be. And for me, it was like, I think the very first time I was like really challenged by life, like where I was just like, what is going on,
Mm-hmm.
was in medical school. And I remember like just feeling this internal, like, this is not resonating with me. And I'm like taking the classes, taking the exams, you know, doing the work. But I was just like, something here at the, like this, and this is just straight conventional medical education and training, which now I understand why I felt the way I did, but I really fought it for a long time until I had to sit down and be like, okay, you know, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, is it supposed to look like this? Is this the path I'm supposed to be walking? And if it wasn't for that, I would have either pushed through and been miserable, or have just quit completely. But it was the introspective, like going inward and sitting down and evaluating, that had me say, like, I want this, but I can make it look how I want it to look, and have it serve me the way I want it. So those moments, they hurt, they're painful, they're uncomfortable, they're embarrassing, but they provide the biggest breakthroughs in this whole life experience that I would not ever trade, ever. That's gotten me to where I am today.
Yeah, I love that too, because I know I had a statement before where somebody had asked me about being brokenhearted, and I can use this same statement here. It's not that it breaks you down, it breaks you open to something better, without even realizing. And that's the part that we're so scared to, and often we use fillers that don't work. You know, some people drink, some people eat, some people call other people, some people just go to sleep, some people travel, like they just do all these different things instead of allowing themselves to break open. But that's scary, you know. Jonathan, did you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Not right now. Pass. I mean, I can add so much. I mean, I think what was the question again? I think I was in my mind.
Are there moments when you feel like you were forced? You had already kind of talked. I just wanted to know if you wanted to add on.
I think I go through that at least every 3 months. So I go once a quarter, right? Yeah, I think as far as when your back is against the wall, when you're just trying to figure it out. You know, I think especially when it comes to individuals that help so many other people, and you are involved in other people's lives on a day-to-day basis. So you always check yourself, but you don't really give yourself time to really feel yourself, to really process you. And so eventually it catches up to you, you know. So for me, if I start working with a lot of people, and every time somebody comes to me, whatever they're going through, I'm like, damn, I actually need to give myself that advice, or I need to listen to what I'm doing. You know, I think that's an opportunity for me to really look at myself and be like, damn, this is legit. But honestly, if I was to be real, every time I get to the point where I'm like, I want to quit. I don't want to do this no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get to a breaking point where I'm like, I don't want to do this, but I know this is my love, but I'm so tired. I know that that's normally a time that it's normally a sign to me that I'm getting burnt out. And it's a sign to me that I'm not loving myself. I'm not respecting myself. I'm not taking care of myself at all. So really, I'm being a hypocrite, you know? So, so whenever I get to that point, which again, like I said, that's at least once a quarter. I'm like, fuck all this. Oh, excuse me. Can I cuss on your platform? I can cuss.
Yeah.
Fuck this
be
shit.
free. Be you.
There's no more, right? But that's what I kind of know. So like when my back is up against the wall and I'm just tired, and I know like I haven't really taken care of myself the way that I want to take care of everybody else. And when you start noticing like you want to take care of everybody else, but you don't necessarily do that for yourself, you know, to like really check yourself and to make sure you good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate too well. I don't even want to say that, but yeah. Next question. Do you feel like there are misconceptions surrounding loving yourself first? Because like I said, it's trending. We hear it. So people are talking about self-love. What do you think are some misconceptions surrounding it? And it's just personal opinion.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misconceptions that I see is that everything is going to be peaches and cream on the other side. You know, I think like healing is a journey. Loving yourself is a journey. Like it's a choice that you make every single day. You excuse me, I get a lot of clients. I just got this client, a new client that I just signed on the other day. A-list celebrity, like person, client, individual, right? Individual that, you know, feels like they got the world and has everything, but they're like, damn, I can do whatever I want to do in my life, but I hate my life. You know what I'm saying? And I used to never understood that until I started working with celebrities. You know, you work with certain people, but you can idolize them. You can look at them on television. You can look at them doing certain things, and you're like, you can do whatever you want until you actually are working with them or you're with these people, these individuals, and people are like, I hate my life. And so they're like, yo, Jonathan, help me figure out what I need to do. Let me just do this one thing. Do I need to go here? Do I need to do this? Do I need to go? What do I need to do to be good with myself? And I'm like, yo, it's a journey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You can't just throw money at your problems. You know what I'm saying? You can't just throw whatever at an issue. You got to work it. So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that you're just going to one day wake up and everything's going to be great. And once you love yourself, you're just going to be good. But people have to really know that it's a work in progress. Every day you got to make a choice to be better. Every day you got to make a choice to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you can't just focus on your strengths. You got to focus on your weaknesses, because that's what's going to help you to really accept yourself, love yourself through whatever circumstance, whatever situation, whatever event, whatever you go through in your life. When you can look at yourself and see yourself, that's when you really understand that you're loving yourself and healing is a journey and not a destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Markeisha says, nope, you will have setbacks, but you just have to work through them. Very true. It's a journey indeed, pure intentions. Kat, did you want to add on?
Yeah, I think there are so many misconceptions around loving yourself first. I agree with Jonathan that it's not, the journey is not all love and light like it sounds. But what else I was going to say is that another misconception is that you have to go through it alone. And that is a very common misconception that I always have to shatter for everybody that I talk to. Like, we weren't even designed to go through it alone, not even like you wanting to or choosing to. So that would be one. I feel like another one is that you need to receive permission first. No, I feel like it's a birthright to love yourself first. I feel like you don't need to wait for someone to grant you the authority to begin the journey. Another misconception is that you will be isolated for doing so. So like you'll be perceived as narcissistic or egotistical or selfish, and then you'll start to be alienated from people around you, when it actually is the most selfless thing that you could do for yourself. So I think, just busting all the myths, I think, is like level one or step one to actually beginning to embark upon this journey.
Hey, can I say something real quick? I don't know, is somebody in your audience? Make sure you don't go to the person that broke you seeking assistance to heal you. Like I think a lot of times people, we do, you know what I'm saying? Like we trauma bond. We go to broken situations and we expect to heal from a broken situation by going back to what broke us. So like, you if somebody broke you, if something broke you, you can't receive healing from there. You got to heal yourself. You know, you got to trust yourself and you have to grow past it. I think another thing too, you know, when people pray to meet God, God always introduce you back to you. You know what I'm saying? God will always introduce you back to you. God will always put you in a position where you get to meet your past, your present, and your future. You know what I'm saying? You have to, God is going to test you to see, are you ready for the things that you're calling? You know, so it's like, I don't know. I just feel like somebody need to know. Don't, you know, it's like somebody listen. They're like, I love myself, but they're about to go back to a situation that broke them, that made them confused about themselves. That can't help you. If it confuses you, it's not for you.
Yeah. 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 All right. About to make me run around the church right now. It's cool. I got quickened a little bit. And I don't control myself. It's okay.
Quickened.
It's okay. All right. Well, ditto, because I was trying to think of what I could add, but there's not even much I could add to all that powerfulness that was just said. Only one little pinpoint thing, because I feel like some people need like specifics. It's not going to be just a bubble bath. It's not going to be just going to go get my nails done. It's not going to just be a vacation. It might be those things simultaneously with a number of things, but it's not going to be just one thing. Because I see people who'll say, you know, today I did this for myself, or I did, you know, I went for a walk. I don't know. It's not just one thing though. Like you guys said, you have to go in. And like I said, it might be layers of things, and it's progressive over time. That's important to say as well. Because I can just feel somebody on here talking about, after I get off of this, I'm gonna go take me a bubble bath with some cat. No, that's not self-love all by itself.
Can I also add something else real quick?
Sure.
My mind is just, it's
Cool.
peaceful. But also, too, healing is expensive. I need everybody to know that, right? Healing is expensive. It costs money to heal, but it's expensive because you sometimes have to break the bank of your spiritual, your mental, your emotional, and your physical. Sometimes you got to sacrifice everything to put yourself in a position to receive what is yours. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes so it's expensive because sometimes you got to let go of that relationship. Sometimes you got to let go of those friends. Sometimes you got to let go of the stuff that you've told yourself you were supposed to be doing in order to receive what you are supposed to be doing. You got to give up that good so you can get to that great, you know, but I don't know why. I just feel like, you know, because healing is expensive.
Yeah.
Ooh. So just
figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
And as you've always said, that, you know, we have to understand that money is energy.
Yes.
So, you know, we have trauma bonds that are attached to it too. And when we think about it, we don't think about it in the sense of sacrifice. We think about money in the sense of exhaust. And when we think about it that way, that's what hinders us too from our healing sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
'Cause it's safe. You know, people always, especially in the Black community, like a lot of times we pay attention to what we can see, what we can feel, what makes sense to us. You know, so it's hard for us to make sense of something if we can't see it. And a lot of times your healing, you're not going to see it because you have not been around anybody that was able to model that for you. You haven't been around a healthy relationship with money, with your romantic partner, with friends, with family, with whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we don't have the model for the things that we are seeking. So you have to go and get the right people, because a lot of times too, I think another big thing, a misconception, is people think they can heal by just talking to people that are going through the same thing that they're going through. You know what I'm saying? They may be able to relate, but that don't mean they can get you out of where you are and move you to the next level. They can't get you across that bridge. You know, I think that's also very important for people too, because I come across a lot of people that are like, yo, and luckily, you know, not luckily, well, lucky for us, we're all very expensive, right? So I just want to throw that out here, but we do make sure you get what you need. But yeah.
You know, you will get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I love that you said too, we do have to remember that because we didn't have a model, that we are the blueprint.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a lot that's attached. There's a lot of responsibility, and sometimes we don't want to do that. But do you want the next generation? Do you want people who follow you, who are looking at you, who are around you, other family members? Do you want them to experience the same thing that you're experiencing? So sometimes it's hard to be the legacy in that say, because, you know, we think about legacy in the sense of money, but what about legacy in the sense of healing? You know,
we need a legacy in the Black community. We need a legacy of emotional clarity and emotional intelligence.
Yeah. Mindfulness, all the above. Yes.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Too? I think just because now you guys are triggering me. So I think in the community, like I've noticed in the Black community, especially, that it's very difficult to take risks. And so when you talk about healing, but also talk about money and talk about like all of these things, there's a fear that's
Yeah.
attached to releasing or taking a risk or going against your current standard of norm because that's your comfort zone. That's what you know. And this is literally what I'm about to teach about in like 15 minutes at my event. Yes.
I know. I was like,
But
you
like,
go ahead. I was looking at the time, Kat. I was
I
gonna go
know,
ahead and move to the
but that's
last
why,
question.
no, that's why it was so fresh because I was just like, we're the type of people who would rather hold on to $10 than risk it and find another 10 somewhere else, you
Mm.
know, or try to flip it. Like, it's just like, no, I'm gonna just keep
Yeah.
this. And then that translates into how we heal, how we grow our education, like everything. So you just have to, there's an element there of trust and even faith of like being able to say, okay, I'm worth this.
Yeah. But I think even all of that is so true and so key because even when it comes to loving yourself or respecting yourself, if you don't value yourself, if you
Right.
don't invest in yourself, regardless of whatever it is, whether it's exercising, whether it's eating right. See, I think a lot of us are a lot of people are so focused on convenience that we don't really know how to invest in the longevity because if we can't see it. So if we don't have a model, then you can't see it. We don't know what to do. So we get confused. So we don't want to risk it because I'm giving you my all for what? You know, so then that's the question. But I'm learning, like, and I try to tell this to my people all the time, like, in order to appreciate it, and I'm learning it myself, but in order to appreciate it, you have to invest, whatever it is, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, all of it. Sometimes, if you really looking for a change and you're not getting it, ask yourself, where are you not investing? Where are you not putting your all? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Because I can keep talking for days now, because now I'm getting triggered. I don't know who it is that's on here, but somebody on here is like, I'm like, so yeah.
All right. So last question. Friend told me this question a couple because we often hear about people. What would you say to your 10-year-old self? But the question this time is, 20 years from now, what advice would you give to yourself now about loving yourself first? The person that you know you are right now. What advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, mine's is easy. Charge more.
Why did I know that was what you were
Really?
And it's a reason why. It's a reason why, because I spent so long doing certain things, meaning to make sure that I was clear for myself and investing, that my goal was, I want to learn all of this stuff, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, going to school to give it away. But I realized through my experience, everyone that I gave it away to didn't incorporate it nor apply it. So it was weird because the people that I was giving to ended up becoming my model because I was expecting them to lead me in a very weird way, right? So it took me to go to therapy and to be in therapy now and working with my coaches to begin to change my model versus it was a certain level, certain aspects of myself that I didn't value versus those that I did value. Or I did charge, I did do certain things. They were able to value it and change it. So I was always afraid of those who walk the walk. I was so big on walking the walk, but I was afraid of those who walk the walk. So I would honestly say charge more. Don't be afraid of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think too many times, like, we're so afraid of our potential, even though we say we embrace it. But 9 times out of 10, we don't. Yeah. And that's why we go back and forth, and that's why we don't execute. So for me, it would have been charged more.
Okay. How about you, Kat?
For me, the advice I would give myself, or what I would say to myself, would be good job.
Oh,
I like that.
I would be like, well done.
Wow.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the grind is so real that you're like nose deep in the dirt. And when you lift up your head for someone to just be like, you're doing well, I see you, take a break, relax. You
Yeah.
know, your impact is there. Good job. So
Mhm.
to just be able to hear that more, I think to
Yeah.
each other, but also like just the uplifting and not just looking for the this is what you need to work on, but embracing the good that has already come from the
Wow.
person. So yeah, I would love some affirmations and compliments. I feel like now when I do something grand, it's like, oh yeah, you were supposed to.
Hmm.
We expect, of
It's
course. And I'm
Yeah.
just like,
okay.
that was really hard. You know,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
hear a good job too and be cheer someone cheering for me like, yeah, so that's what I would tell myself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I need to tell myself that now repeatedly. Um, I was thinking about this question too while you guys were talking. I think my thing, and I'm gonna take what you guys already said too, and adding it on would be you you are your own sacrifice. Like you don't have to like because I feel like I have sacrificed so many parts of myself for other people and other things, allow yourself to be your own sacrifice. And for me, part of that is self-love. So whatever that means for me just being myself, period. You know, and for many of us, Kat, you are doing something different, being integrative. Jonathan, spiritual life coach, just that all embodied within itself and everything you do. To me, that's a rebellious act. And so us just being ourselves and being committed to being our own personal sacrifice, that's the advice that I would give myself. Like continue to do that, you know. Um, so as we end this, can you tell us where we can find you guys?
Oh yes, but first off, when is the next show?
I'm gonna pop you.
I want to know
I'm
because I want to put it in
just
my calendar.
yo estoy aquí. I am here today, and I made it through this doggone line.
No.
Okay.
Everybody that's in here right now, don't y'all want to see her on next week or the week after? When do you want to see her again? I
Lord.
love this because we need these type of conversations. I think it's so important and it's so key. Like we need these type of conversations because so many people limit themselves just because they limit their thoughts. They limit their conversations. So even by just having this, we just broke something through. So, and I just love you so much, and I love your expression. I love what you bring to the table. I love who you are, and I can't wait to see you.
I don't know. I don't even have hot flashes, and I just got one. I was like, Lord, there's a fire going on inside because now you're gonna make me forget to something else. Jesus. I'm gonna say next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. I'll commit. We'll work stages here.
No.
All right. So yes, please tell us real quick because I know Kat has to go.
Yeah, Kat has to go. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah.
I'm all things Elevate with Dr. K. So social media, Elevate with Dr. K, website, elevatewithdrk.com. My practice is Mind, Body, Spirit Wellness Center in Atlanta for physical, holistic goodness. Elevate with Dr. K involves the intangible realms as well. Thank you for having me on here, Ayisha.
Thank
This
you
is beautiful.
so much.
You are beautiful. My beautiful friends together, my favorites. I love it.
I
love it.
appreciate the support so much.
Yeah, this was great. This was great. I'm so proud of you. Yeah, y'all can find me at www.jonathanlharris.com. Yeah, you can find me there. You know, find me on Instagram, Jonathan the Medium. Find me on all platforms, Jonathan the Medium.
All right. And you can find me right here where you are. And I do have a website. So it's www.beautifullifelyf.com. And yeah, please visit us for all our wonderful services. Thank you guys again for supporting me. and pushing me. Have a great evening.
Bye.